G'day legends, welcome back to Roadside, presented by Zwift, and our daily coverage brought to you by Society. It's our Tour Down Under mega preview, Tommy, and we've got a huge episode to unpack, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. And we're sort of just coming off the curtails of a Nationals block. Wasn't that just simply superb? Sort of maybe just on the upwards trend after, falling off the cliff that was Nationals, mate.
Yeah, we are, and it's a big episode, so we've got a lot to cover. We'll be going through the stages for both the men's and women's events. We'll talk about the GC contenders, the teams who are in the box seat to win, because there are a few clear ones. And we'll also unpack the sprinters as well, because we've got a big start list.
Yeah, we do. It's really deep.
Stars.
I think, we've seen more sprinters almost coming out to the race now. More than ever, or maybe not more than ever, but we're certainly seeing deeper sprint start lists, aren't we?
Yeah.
Second, third tier sprinters who want to etch their name on the winners list and to have a bit of a crack. So
they
it's
also
good.
want a couple of weeks. They need points, and they don't mind a little stay in the Hilton as well.
You don't mind that either, do you?
I'm looking forward to it. So the ARA team as well, the Australian teams will be represented in both the women's and the men's. So we'll chat about some of the riders there, what we expect. Some housekeeping before we do dive in. Daily coverage, okay? So if you're new to the pod, we will be covering Tour Down Under daily after every stage, which most of the time they finish between 3:30 and 4:30, the stages, with the exception of the prologue, which is a 6 p.m. start for the men's. All the episodes will be uploaded around about 6 p.m. on average Adelaide time. So make sure you tune in then. Every episode, will be out. Ben O'Connor, Brady Gilmore episode's been well received, Tommy.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're perfect timing. Get them in your ears if you're making your way over to Tour Down Under.
Yeah, when you're on the plane, or driving across.
Yep.
We'll try and get some more athletes as well because, with this year staying in the Hilton, we'll be able to just access the rides a little bit easier, and you can just jump across to the hotel room or room number 1A, and we can,
or in the basement.
Yeah, room 15A, and we can grab some of the riders quickly for some nice interviews. So we'll try our best there. Let's get into this episode, Tommy, the mega Tour Down Under preview. This is Roadside, presented by Zwift.
This is your FE Sports Roadside preview of the best World Tour event on the calendar, isn't it, Jethro? Of course, I'm talking about Tour Down Under. It is here. It is TDU Race Week. There is heaps to talk about, but quickly, we got a little bit of a care package, didn't we, from FE Sports? We've just been taken care of because they know how much riding we do. And we needed some fresh kit before we headed across.
That's right, yeah, it's on the table over there. We should actually brought it over so we could show them, but
Yes.
got, just like we said a couple episodes ago, we got the tyres sorted for the riding because, of course, Tour Down Under is built for both spectating and making the most of the Adelaide hills,
Yes.
and it designs the stages to start at around 10 o'clock, or around 11, and then finish at 3. So that means that everyone who travels to Adelaide can ride in the morning. You can do your 6 to 9 bunchy, you can get your short hills in, and I really wanted a set of fresh tyres, some fresh Pirellis, and I actually got I got 4 TPU tubes, so hopefully they feel a bit lighter up Norton Summit, mate.
Yeah, no, they certainly do, mate. I'm seriously impressed by the setup. I'm running it at the moment on my wheels, and I can't believe the difference. So
sick.
And I'm an absolute, just a bunchy punter at the moment, and I can notice it. So if I can notice it, then everybody can. They'll be able to notice the difference. So yeah, you will as well. First things first, mate, kicking things off, we've got the women's racing. They're going to be starting on the Saturday. But prior to that, and something I'm actually very excited to see and take in, is the team's presentation.
Yeah, it's a ripper. That's
on the Friday night.
The Friday night, get down to the main village of Victoria Square. It really is a really nice spectacle to be a part of. There's lots of seating. Of course, the hun or the beer area will be around in there. It's really well organised. It happens quick and fast, and definitely that's going to be fun actually to watch and get a good spot, because if you like getting autographs and photos and stuff, I think they organise that. But stage 1 is a cracker. We've got Wollonga, a Wollonga stage.
Not the Wollonga
Not
stage.
the Wollonga.
Bit of a tease, isn't it? So just as well, in summary, the women's route, it's the longest women's route that's been in the history of the race, just shy of 400 kilometres. It's also hardest. It's quite easily the hardest women's route we have seen in the history of the Tour Down Under. The Wollonga stage you're adhering to, my friend, it just is a circuit around sort of the Wollonga area. They don't use the entirety of the climb, so they're just using it up to the township, and then they sort of peel back around. So it's a punchy, hard sort of stage where we expect maybe even Ali Wollaston to get the chocolates there.
Yeah, looking at the stage profile, it looks very spiky. It actually kind of looks really sawtooth, those 3 peaks of the Wollonga sort of climb. It averages about 4.2%, so yeah, a bit more of a power climb. And in the peloton, that gradient won't feel so strong. But they do 3 ascents, and that also means they do 3 descents. And we might see some splits through there if some riders are feeling keen. And they do finish on that Wollonga bit, so it will be an uphill drag. So yeah, the likes of the sprinters who can survive, the fit sprinters, they might like the end of that stage. But it moves on to stage 2, which is the Paracombe finish stage, 130 kilometres. This one probably leaned a little bit more to the breakaway. They do sort of do a circuit at the end, doing 3 times Paracombe, which is a short climb. It averages 2.2%, but it actually has a peak of 9.5, so there is a bit of a launch pad there for some riders, and they finish on the Paracombe as well.
You think this stage, you think it's hard enough that the bunch kick won't actually occur? Because I look at this and I see, and I for me, this has bunch kick written all over.
Yeah, it does. It certainly, even though we had that, that really max gradient for Paracombe at the end with a 3 times circuit, with the peloton rolling into it, they'll roll over that.
They will. They carry speed, don't you?
Yeah, they'll it's 6-7 pedal strokes when you're in the draft to get over something like that. So it's probably again, leads toward those fitter sprinters who we will mention, and when we go to our start list. Stage 3, Norwood to Campbelltown. This one is an interesting one. It definitely provides a platform at the end because it's mostly flat, but then we see a dual ascent of the famous corkscrew at the end, Tommy, with the last 25 kilometres ago, they do corkscrew twice.
Yeah, they certainly do. So easily the Queen stage of this year's Women's Tour Down Under. It is a great way to finish. I love the fact that they're using corkscrew again. I've actually never seen it raced in person over the last couple of years. Ridden it a few times and gone, wow, I'd love to see this. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's a good way to round out the Women's Tour Down Under. But I look at this parkour and I just think, why is there not just another stage or 2? I think that's kind of been the lingering question mark for the Women's Tour Down Under, is why is it so short? Can you hear or have any insight on that? Or?
Well, they are trying to increase it every year. We've got the extra one-day stage race that we'll chat about as well. That's on the back end of this. But, yeah, I think the women's race could definitely earn another full stage added. And I think, we kind of all want to see the tradition that is Wollonga being the finish. I really like that, or Wollonga being the Queen stage. I think that's a great way to do it. We don't have it this time. The corkscrew is a great bit of theatre because it's such a tough climb. It's much different to Wollonga. But, yeah, I mean... I
like it. I like this. I actually think this is a better way of finishing the race.
Okay.
If anything, I would actually rather see them drop Wollonga, have this stage, and maybe just like another more intermediate stage like the Paracombe stage, but slightly harder where you could see the breakaway get a bit of a chance. I think that would just be a wonderful addition to this parkour because then it caters to kind of everybody. And also, I just know the corkscrew climb, for those who don't know Adelaide, it is very accessible.
Yes.
You can ride out. So this Norwood finish, this Norwood start is really accessible. It's just right next to the city centre. You can do that. You can obviously, and then you can go out and ride and watch the whole race and have the whole day out there, and you're only just one short descent from home. So I really love this stage.
Okay. Well, the weather is forecasted to be mid to high 20s so far, which is, thank God, after the melting pot we've had in for us at least in Western Australia and over in Melbourne. We know it's been very, very hot in Melbourne as well. So we'll appreciate a nice little cool change. I think these stages overall, Tom, it looks like the race organisers are trying to create a little bit of that scenario where the sprinters are in the GC fight coming into the last stage because they'll be picking up bonus seconds. These climbs aren't massive climbs here. There's a world where the sprinters with some bonus seconds are still in the race. I think they're trying to create that narrative this year, which should be really interesting.
No way, surely not.
Well,
there's no way that any of the sprinters are getting over the corkscrew at the same pace, even if we're talking like within a minute of some of the best climbers.
Yeah, I mean...
surely not.
But they could gain some bonus seconds throughout the race and find themselves, maybe 30, 40 seconds if they have a really good day. across the first two stages. There is a world.
Yep, absolutely.
So we'll see. So we should talk about the sprinters, Tommy, who are going to have, looks like they're going to have like a good chance on the first and second stages for the Women's Tour Down Under. We've got Ali Wollaston back, of course, running for FDJ now. She missed out last year.
She did, didn't she? She got so close last year.
After she was really the queen of the 2024 edition. Chloe Dygert is back as well. And, she's not a traditional sprinter, but she will be there at the finish, no doubt about it. Emma Norsgaard as well is very quick, and we know Ruby Roseman Gannon will be there. There's a few others that could get involved as well, Tommy, from some of the other teams.
Yeah, Lucy Fishers from Picnic Post NL will be one of those riders who'll be looking to mix it up. She's someone who is sort of taking a step forward this year, I think, moving to that team. She's moved on from St. Michelle, so I'm excited to see how she goes in her first World Tour race with that outfit. That's a very well-drilled outfit. Who definitely have expectations, and they are a fan of UCI points over in that team. So Martina Fidanza from Team Visma Lisa Bike, she's a rapid sprinter. She's had success, at the old tail end of the season in China, Tour of Chongming, where it's just 3/4 flat track sprints.
Okay.
So she is someone who I think will be looking to mix it up there, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's one of the direct challengers to Ali Wollaston.
Very interesting. Okay, well, I think just at a glance, Ali is the fastest here. Emma Norsgaard is also very, very fast, but she's very similar to Ruby Roseman Gannon, where she likes a grippier finish. And then if it is really, really hard and really punchy, where the sprinters are just sort of on the edge of hanging on to compete in the sprint,
That's home stage, you're thinking?
Well, that's when we enter Chloe Dygert, because she's just so damn strong. We saw last year on the Sterling stage, when she kicked, I think she won the sprint by about 10 bike lengths. So on just overall strength, if Dygert's here and she's in at least 80% form, not only will she challenge for the GC, but she'll challenge the sprinters on both stages.
Yeah, you're right, though. I think you are a little bit more on the money with, if maybe not a pure sprinter can win the GC, but if you've got someone like Dygert or Ruby Rose, they need to get time bonuses on the first day.
Yes.
They cannot just let that Wollonga stage, they cannot make it easy. It needs to be, if there's a little bit of wind, they've got to make it hard as possible. They've got to try and give themselves the best chance to starting the corkscrew day, finishing in Campbelltown with at least a 20-30 second advantage.
Yeah, critical to stay. You just want to start off on the right foot, because
it's the old Darryl Impey tactic, isn't it?
It's exactly what I was going to say, Darryl Impey. It's the Darryl Impey play here, trying to hold on and use the seconds. Now, the actual GC riders, the climbers, the ones who traditionally do win here at the Women's Tour Down Under, we've got the returning champion, Naomi Rugg, and she also returns with the world champion, Magdalene Valerez. So she is here for EF as well. They've got a stacked team with Kim Cadzow as well, who I think she top 10 the Wollonga stage last year, or was in that group. That is a solid team for the GC.
Yeah, it is. That's a clear indication that they are coming here to try and win this race again.
They're not just here for the Hilton Buffet.
No, they're not. That's what you're signing up for, mate. That's what you've got your eyes absolutely lined up for. No, they're not, and I agree with you. And I think it's a strong team. It sends a message, doesn't it? It sends a really clear message. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Amanda Spratt, she was 7th last year. She's won this race multiple times. She will look to try and emulate her form of years past. Neve Bradbury was 3rd at Nationals for Canyon SRAM. What are your expectations of her and her outfit? Do you reckon they've got a strong enough team to challenge?
Well, Neve, of course, riding for Canyon SRAM's Zonda Crypto, she'll have Chloe Dygert there, and Dygert, if she knows she's not in the hunt for the GC, she's actually a great teammate. We've seen her work quite a lot for the GC contenders over the last 18 months, so I think those two as a combination, they're going to be really good, and they've probably got 2 cards to play there. Like if we get to stage 2 or stage 3 and Dygert's in the mix for GC, they've got 2 options.
Yep.
And if they don't, they'll use Dygert as the wrecking ball to position Neve. And if I was Neve Bradbury, I would love having Dygert as my sort of bodyguard, just to police you through. So they're in really good nick there, Canyon SRAM. We talked about Jayco. They've got Ruby Roseman Gannon, who we think she could be a chance, and they've got Wiley as well.
Yes.
It's a shame, though, because they lost Silky Schmolders only 3 weeks ago. I think it was announced she wasn't going to be here after being 2nd on GC last year.
Yes, correct. Bit of a training incident. So I think there was she might have just had a bit of a praying. So that ultimately is kind of sort of scrubbed her from being on the start list. Yeah.
Okay, so Dominika Lodezak is riding for UAE. She was 4th last year. She's always there for TDU. She's actually always there in the sprints as well. She's kind of similar to Dygert, maybe just the Dygert light in a way that she can do a lot. She'll have Mavi Garcia, who's with UAE as well.
Yes, she will. So the veteran, the Spanish veteran.
Yes.
Who won a stage at the Tour de France last year and stunning display of, just rolling the dice and panache and cycling. It was great to see. Hopefully bringing that experience down in that team, adding a little bit of firepower, but I kind of put her in maybe the same bracket as Amanda Spratt. Kind of, we'll see.
We'll see. Adelaide will also have Realini as well. She's about 20 kilos and probably about 100 centimetres tall, but she will love the corkscrew final stage. So, but she's also tiny, so she might find the other stages quite difficult. Now,
our national team.
The national team. I think we've established that EF and Canyon SRAM, they're in the box seat. I think Naomi Rugg, the world champion Valerez, Kim Cadzal for EF, and Neve and Dygert, they are looking very, very strong for that GC. The ARA Australian team, of course, is put together by a team of, most of the time it's the young up-and-comers, and there's usually one or two more experienced older riders in there as well. We've got a really nice setup. Alyssa Pilates last year won the QOM for the race. We have Sophie Edwards, who's a track rider and a sprinter, although the way she raced at Nationals, Tom, she proved herself to be, maybe she's a little bit more than just a fast finisher. Tully Schweizer is a youngster, as is Amelie Sanders. Hannah Giannatti will like the climbs, and Anna Dubier. She's definitely very young, but she is going to be one to watch in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Anna Dubier, didn't she just mop the floor at Nationals last year?
Yeah, she's a killer.
Yeah,
she's
so
a killer.
She wins races. Yeah, she's in the junior. She's stepping up. Good to see. What do you make of the overall composition? What are their targets?
Well, I hope their targets...
What's a pass mark for our national team?
Ooh, it's a really young team. I think a pass mark, it would be good to go back. You got Pilates there, the Queen of the Mountain jersey. It would be good to see that again. If she could go after and get that, Pilates is probably the more experienced in terms of race starts, European racing of the youngsters. And I think if they can get all of them through finishing the race, no DNFs, I reckon the team would be happy with that. No DNFs from any of the riders. I reckon they'd be happy. What do you think?
I agree. I want to see some breakaway action, and I want to see them go hard at a jersey. I know last year we saw in the men's Fergus Browning, you and I both disagreed on whether or not that was actually a good outcome. You thought he was someone who could have top 10 GC.
Yes.
I agree with you, but I also think coming away and securing the jersey the way they did in the first day or two of riding was good. Going hard at the target and getting that. And I'd like to see that happen again here in the women's.
Yep. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think when I come across talking about I don't like seeing some of the riders go on those stupid breakaways where they're just out front for the TV spec and it's two of them and they cook themselves in the day out when they could be maybe getting their first UCI WWT top 10, and these days, as we preach all the time, these youngsters, they are good enough to be up there. But this particular team is a little bit more inexperienced than we've had previously. But Pilates, I thought I'd see a little bit more of her this road nationals. Didn't really see her at all, but perhaps she's just holding back for TDU. So one to watch, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly, before we move on, what do you make with Liv Alula-Jacob's makeup? Obviously, they've got Ruby Roseman Gannon. They'll take Ella Wiley for the climbs, for the corkscrew.
Yep.
Georgia Baker, Rumble in the sprints. And I want to get your thoughts on Mackenzie Copeland, who now is our national champion. She will be in the green and gold. It's her debut World Tour race, at least on home soil here in Tour Down Under. What do you expect from Macca?
Well, the team is actually quite good. They're just
very strong.
They'd love to have Silky Smolgers there, but I think with Ruby and Ella Wiley, they do have some targets to work towards. I think we're going to see Macca on the front quite a lot, and I hope to see those images of maybe towards the finale of the races when we're seeing those circuits where they hit the climbs 3 times or 2 times corkscrew. We're seeing Copeland at the front, driving it, because obviously this is her first season as a Women's World Tour rider. She's got a lot of development to come. I'd just like to see her at the pointy end, driving it, the jersey on show, and actually putting some riders to the sword. Josie Talbot showed she was in really good form. I sense that Josie's probably going to be the rider that will go for a jersey, because she's an all-rounder. she's got a little bit of a kick, and she showed across the summer. She's in pretty good nick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I reckon you're on the money. Yep.
Okay.
I like it.
Well, let's hope. Ruby's
gonna,
never really... I don't think she's won a stage at 2 and under, and she's been close so many times, so perhaps this is the year that she finally gets what she needs and what she wants. New women's race as well, Tommy, which will be on January the 19th. It's a one-day race, Pro Series event. It's going to be in Tanunda. What's the story with this one?
Yeah, this is a bit of an add-on because I think they've kind of condensed the calendar, and what I heard last year as well, that there was a lot of time, so... The women's, obviously, they go in, they have the Hilton for, pre-race, but kind of once their race is done, it's like, well, they're in limbo between cadets. So they have a host of World Tour riders just sitting around, sort of training. Wonderful, yes. Let's have them race. Put on another one-day race out at Tanunda on January the 19th, which will be sort of run concurrently alongside a Pro Velo event as well, which will be out there. So that'll be on the Monday, which is kind of nice to see. It's going to be just the one-day event. I think it's a great addition to the calendar. I just can kind of maybe see the difficulties of, if you're going to do this with this one-day event, just have a fourth stage.
Yeah.
I think just have another World Tour stage for this, for the women.
Yeah.
Is my opinion. But I'm not going to say no to more women's racing.
Yeah, maybe this might be the bridge to making it a fourth stage next season. Let's get into our men's, actually. We'll have a quick break, Tommy. This is Roadside, presented by Zwift. So, Tom, our summer coverage, it's brought to you by Society, and I know for a fact that many of you have been getting into using the code Roadside15 already for getting into the kit for Society. They make some beautiful men's and women's cycling apparel. They've got some really good colours for the women's as well. We've suggested the port wine bibs, the bone jersey combination, but you can look on their website, and they've sort of suggested some good looking designs and matches because you want to get your styles right. The Elevate range, I think, is that perfect one to go after. Use the code Roadside15 and you get the kits, bibs and jersey for under $360. We're actually going to get sent a kit, Tommy, for TDU.
Yes, thank you.
So
what are we getting?
Well, we have to decide our sizes, and then they'll send us. Right. But we'll be riding around. So when we go for the Norton Summit shootout, mate, and I'm absolutely lacing you up the climb. You know what? I'm going to put it out there earlier. I've touched my bike once, I reckon, in the past 3 weeks. So I need to touch my bike 300 times. If Tommy touches his bike once, then we're even. So it could be a good battle. So we'll be in the Society kit, and thanks to Society Cycling. Now, the men's race, Tommy, what have you got?
Mate, what do we have? The route. So, after 2 years, 2024, 2025, the Santos Tour Down Under is kicking off with a prologue. So, can you remember the last time we had a prologue? 2023?
It was raining.
It was pissing down with rain. It was greasy. It ran alongside the river.
They started on a bridge.
Tiled
bridge.
It was one of those ones where they prepped and packed the TT bikes, and then they all just went, this is carnage. This is absolute carnage. Can you remember who won?
He went in the dry. He went at the only time it wasn't raining. Mummy de Pasta, Bettiol, the absolute legend. He was in great nick. And he, after the finish, he was just like, great. I wasn't really super prepared to come here to Tour Down Under, not in off-season shape. And, even someone like that, they're so talented. They get in the right window.
Cycling's a bloody shit sport, isn't it? There would have been guys just prepping up to their eyeballs. Some of even in the national team back then, they would have gone all in for maybe the prologue, the chance to get a podium, chance to get a World Tour jersey. And then the heavens open up, and cycling, the rain is the great unequalizer of the sport almost sometimes in a time trial. So we're starting off with a 3.6 kilometre time trial. It starts just near the big the city centre, more or less, where the event village is, makes its way out along sort of the river and out
does
east.
The old crit circuit as well, the
yes,
correct.
Crit
circuit.
It does. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the prologue. That's going to be on the Thursday night, I believe. Not the Thursday night. I'm getting my dates muddled up. That'll be on the Tuesday night.
The Tuesday night, and this is a really good one to spectate because it starts later. It starts at 6 p.m. and finishes at 8:30, the final starter and prezzo. So This is the one where the track specialists, the sprinters, are usually really like the gaps between first and 15th will probably be like maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and it's the track and sprint guys that'll be really, really good. And I think the ARA guys in the Australian team, like guys like Walsh, Belledin, they're going to be really keen. Kell O'Brien, Matthew Brennan as well, Pedersen, Sam Watson. These guys are going to be licking their lips at getting that ochre jersey.
And not just nailing out of the corners. These guys are going to be absolutely railing the corners, absolutely risking. You're talking about what Jensen Plowright did at the crit as a Hellman.
Yeah.
Sort of in that second last corner. This is what we're going to be seeing like on repeat. So do not stand on the exit of the apex of the corners is what I can just... I'll just put that out there quickly. We saw, obviously, that incident at the Criterium last year, didn't we?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Mate, I was sitting right behind that. I actually went up and I wanted to say to them, you should move. No one should be standing right here. And then 5 laps later. But anyway,
we might actually do a live pod that night because it's at 8:30. We might do like a live watch along for the last half an hour, so we can get down there and we'll see. We'll see if it works out, but we'll definitely be there watching.
Surely there's a balcony from a little lovely establishment just overlooking the arena, the parkour that we can maybe sample some of SA's finest.
You're talking about my penthouse balcony suite at the Hilton? And we'll see. So definitely one to watch, as Tommy said. It's very exciting. Stage 1 proper, the Tanunda stage, Tommy.
Yeah, excitement to what we can only describe as the other side of the spectrum of Tanunda. Pretty hard day out. It's a hard one to get out to Tanunda. It's a long way. You know, you generally either do the pilgrimage out there or back. You've got 3 laps. They do 3 circuits of about 120 kilometres.
Up over Mengler's Hill.
Yes, this hill, it's hard, but it's not hard enough to be decisive for GC.
4% average.
Yeah, precisely. You know, you can see maybe some of the guys try and take it on, but ultimately it has always sort of just come back for a reduced bunch sprint. Last year, Sam Wellsford, he got pulled back on by Ryan Mullen and a host of his Red Bull Bora teammates who drove him back to the peloton, and then they just mopped up a lovely bunch sprint. Following that, mate, it's stage 2. Stage 2 is one we really need to talk about.
Yeah, Norwood to Uradla. I love that word, Uradla. That's 148 kilometres. It starts uphill as well. They actually start going up. Oh, shit, mate. They start at Norton Summit.
Yes, I know.
Good Lord. So they're starting up Norton Summit. That's right. Now I remember we talked about this a few weeks ago, or the last few weeks as well. So they start Norton Summit. That's going to be a cracker to spectate because you all ride up in the morning. You can get along the famous climb we've all done a million times. Then they get up and over that. They head towards Urayla. They descend down through Loberfall. It's just Cuddly Creek. It's the institution, the rides we've all done out there.
Yeah.
Then they do the corkscrew 2 times. So they do it once, just checking here, at 75 k's into the race.
Halfway mark of the stage.
Halfway mark. Then they do it again with about 15 k's to go. We know the corkscrew averages around about that 9.5%. It's a feral climb. We're probably going to see, the race have 3 phases here. The opening will be quite hard because people want to get the break.
Yep.
And then we might get our first selection with that midway point, and then, that final corkscrew. This one's made for the punters who are going to be out there riding, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a wonderful stage. I was speaking about the women's final stage. Sort of mirrors that, maybe a little slightly longer loop between the corkscrew ascents. I'm a huge fan of this stage. This is ideal. I think this is actually the hardest stage as well.
It is
on the parkour. So with the ascent of the corkscrew, you're going to see the GC guys come to the forefront, and it's a pretty hectic run into the corkscrew as well. So this is a wonderful stage. Like, I can't speak highly enough. You go to Norwood as well. You get there nice and early for the start. You see the riders sort of getting ready, and then you bugger off up the climb. Yep. And you got to go hard because you want to get to the right part of the climb where you watch them go. So it's a wonderful morning. This Norwood to Uradla stage.
Yeah, Norwood's the cafe strip too. There's so many good cafes through that main honey hole of Norwood. So that's really, I was sort of having a look because I'm on the commentary for the sprints for the men's. So I was looking to see where the
sprints... you're just kind of casting your eye.
Yeah, I was seeing where the sprint zones are.
Loberthal.
The first one at Loberthal, that's a bit mid, but the second one is after the first time corkscrew, about 5 k's later. So you might be able to call a cool sprint between the GC guys.
So talk me through just your role. You're obviously going to be on the ground for the sprint points. doing the live commentary to all the crowd that gather around there.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. So how does that work? You're going to be at Lobethal for the first one, and then do you go across to Uradla for the second, or how do you beat them?
Well, I've got... that's a good question. I have no idea, but I've got the FX car. So the FX Sprint jersey, I've got a stick-it FX vehicle, the Hyundai, and I have no idea where either of those two places are via map, but I'm just going to have to peg it. I have to get the car and go to the next one.
So you got 35 kilometres
to
get from Lobethal to Uradla.
100k an hour, mate. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. And then in the women's, I'm doing the QOM.
Something tells me you're just going to be parked up at Uradla because that'll be the finish. So you're there for the second sprint point, and then you're there and you'll call the finish alongside, maybe even joined by Mackenzie.
Oh, I think you're right. I think for two of the stages, I am with Macca and Peter. So Dave McKenzie, Peter Mullins for the finish. So that's probably why. Good call. So you're all over it. I haven't read my book yet.
So
enough about me, Tommy. Stage 3. So that is a must. If you're there to get out there and watch it. Stage 3 is the Henley Beach stage to Nan. Again, what a lovely. These town names are great. I don't know where it is, but it is 140 Ks. This looks like it looks like a sprint, but there are many points on the course where riders can try and launch, particularly at the 128k to go mark. There's a little bit of a launch pad there if some riders want to try, and often the case with Tour Down Under, it's the descents towards the end that actually can be the launch pad rather than the climb, because we know the descents in Adelaide, there's some really sweepy, winding ones where the trees are casting shadows on the road, and then you got that shadow and sun sort of gradient. It can be tricky. So there's some technical aspects there we might see the riders take on for stage 3.
Yeah, this sort of reminds me of sort of the Victor Harbour sprint stage. It's kind of grippy. We could see a little bit of action towards the end. The opportunists, they'll come to the forefront here. But following that, mate, stage 4, this is the iconic stage. This is a stage that I dare say really projected Tour Down Under and, helped with their publicity because of Richie Port's dominance on this stage.
Yeah, this is the Wollonga stage, starting in Brighton, heading to Wollonga Hill, the 176 kilometres. We got the double Wollonga at the end. They actually do it earlier in the stage as well, but there's about a 90-kilometre sort of flat section in the middle through the that vineyard.
It's a hard start. Holy shit! Excuse my French. It's a very hard start. They've actually got this kind of uncategorised climb just in the first 10 or 15 kilometres.
That's Chandler's Hill.
Yeah, so they've got 2 uncategorised sort of bumps in the road, we're going to call it. So, and then they actually hit Wollonga quite early on with 50 kilometres. So it's actually a really difficult day out. And it's at 178 kilometres long, or 176 kilometres. So this is a day where you could finally see a little bit of fatigue set in, but also just, if it's windy, and we've seen it be windy down that corner of the world, then this could be a massive, massive day.
Yeah, I think that the breakaway is set for here because you're going to get the breakaway that'll feature some climbers and some teammates who can actually pull them through the flat section, which is after the first time Wollonga, around that 40-50k mark. So it'll be a dynamic stage. It ends with the finale up Wollonga. I mean, we know that is just an amazing finish. Wollonga Hill, the crowds will be crazy, and the race will ultimately be decided there.
You'll be down at Snapper Point on that day, huh?
Is that where it says?
It says Snapper Point. That's where you'll be, mate.
Jeez, so...
Get some fish and chips down there.
You just got to do the hard yards, but I'll have the TV on. And then, of course, we finish with the famous Stirling stage, which is the circuits around that Stirling loop. We've seen it so many times, used in the women's, used in the men's. It's a really nice stage design because we'll see the circuit action.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting to see the fallout of... well, basically what it means, this stage 5, whoever's in the ochre jersey on Wollonga, they have to defend it. And that is the point that Stuart O'Grady has put this stage in. That was the reason for it last year. They want the ochre jersey to defend their title on that final stage, because usually we see whoever wins on Wollonga takes the jersey, and that's it. So stage 5 is for that, to add another dynamic to the race.
It's good, isn't it? Like, even thinking of last year, UAE... They didn't use this stage. I'm thinking of the year before where we saw Stevie Williams win, and
Mount Lofty.
That
and he took the jersey, and it was you win, see you goodbye.
Yep. So this sort of like this setup with the loops, the circuit, the short, sharp circuit, the grippiness. it's good.
Yeah, and
It's really good in the proximity to the city as well. I just love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And often the GC riders that sometimes win Wollonga or do very well on Wollonga Hill, most of the time they come here with a real average team. You know, they've got the youngsters, they've got guys out of form. So trying to defend the jersey with a team that is compromised, it makes it really good viewing. So those are the stages. I think overall, Tom, as usual, the Tour Down Under gets it right. It just makes it really good for spectating. It keeps it interesting with the stage bonuses and, of course, just how they're positioned with all the hills.
Do you reckon it's hard enough? It's definitely been made. They've definitely, Stewie O'Grady, the race director, he's definitely made both races, quite a little bit harder. And that, I think, is in accordance with where the World Tour's going these days. There are no gifts anymore. But do you think it's hard enough?
Yeah.
Do you think?
I think it is. I think it is. And the riders, like you said, they just come in great form these days. Okay. They're not rolling around. They're going to be hitting these climbs really hard and going after the sprints too. So the big sprinters we've got to look out for, Tommy. Let's talk about them. We've got, of course, Sam Welsford, he's sort of the big ticket name, isn't he, after what he's done the last few years. But he's in a new team. He didn't get the crit title on Friday night at Nationals. I'm sure he'll be here with a point to prove. And even more interestingly, he might be sprinting to get his old lead-out man, Danny Van Poppel. I'm sure he'll be motivated to go, hey, you may be the lead-out, but I'm the big man here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see that very much so. Danny Van Poppel, he was exceptional last year, wasn't he? And he's earned the right now, the way that Red Bull have structured their team so heavy with Remco and their other GC riders that they kind of went, we actually don't need a big pure sprinter. We want someone like Danny Van Poppel who can do both alongside Geordie Muse as well. So Danny Van Poppel, he will be coming there to this race with leadership, maybe co-leadership alongside a Finn Fisher Black.
Yep.
And he's got some help there as well with Pithy in his lineup. So he's not just coming by himself as a rogue operator. I expect him to challenge. I also really expect Matthew Brennan from Visma Lease Bike, who had a breakout year last year. He mopped the floor at Catalunya. He won a host of races. He took a huge step forward in his career. He's coming here with his lead-out man, who's come across from one of the Italian teams, Filippo Fiorelli. They're pairing Fiorelli up early with him, and there was a lot of talk about him being paired up with Wout Van Aert, but to see this sort of combination happen early, I like seeing it. But they're not going to have it their own way. These two big names, are they? As we said at the start of the pod, the sprint talent runs deep.
It runs deep. You've got the guys like Aaron Gate there, who'll probably be sniffing around the Oka jersey at the start as well with that prologue. Tim Thorn Turtenberg from Lidl. He's a youngster who's got a bit of speed, the Triple T. Sebastian Milano from UAE, he always plucks out something. Darnese as well. Luke Lamperti as well. Look out for him, the youngster. But I think, Tommy, after seeing the criterium at the Nationals, after seeing the road race where this man finished in 15th place ahead of a lot of very strong climbers, all-rounders, I think Jensen Plowright is going to be the sprinter of the Tour Down Under. I know that Matthew Brennan, he is a superstar. He's probably the one there with the brightest future. But I think we're going to see Jensen Plowright just announce himself that, okay, I've had a bit of time now going through the dev team, learning the craft of what it takes to be a professional. From what I've seen this week at Nationals, I think Jensen Plowright is going to be there. And can you imagine the lead-out trains, mate? There's going to be some carnage because you've got Sam Welsford, who will not yield for anyone. You've got Jensen Plowright, who will not yield for anyone. And you've got Danny Van Poppel, who's got more fucking yellow cards for chopping people up in the sprints than you could poke a stick at. So the lead-outs are going to be feral. Pithy's in there. He doesn't balk as well to anyone bumping around. The sprints, if we get those high-speed lead-outs, we're going to see proper boxing on.
Yeah, to be honest, what you just described is just nightmare rocket fuel for all the GC riders. Like what you've just said is it's going to be a little boxing ring, and then you're going to have these GC riders just, dodging these punches from the sprinters, just simply to survive, because there are stages, as we've just spoken about, where they're going to be rubbing shoulders, going to be mixing it on sort of uphill draggy finishes. So Jensen Plowright, the interesting thing, I'm looking at his team though. Alpecin Premier Tech. Hopefully their kit arrives in time. We saw Plough Right riding in the white race suit from Pedal Mafia, I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So weird anyway. But they'll go there with Michael Google as well, who's been a notable performer in sort of the Ardennes and he's had a good result at Strada Bianchi.
Yeah, experienced dude.
Yeah, very. The rest of his team is not. The rest of his team are, I can only put it simply, they are a bunch of Alpecin Premier Tech, just a mishmash of a couple of riders who will all just be very strong, but they will be very committed to Jensen Plough Right.
You're right. That team is a stinker, isn't it?
I'm glad you said that. I didn't really know how to say that politically, but I'll let you say that.
I say stink. I mean, youngsters and guys who might just be thinking about later in the season, but that does make it a little bit more tricky for Jensen. But I think
it becomes a bit of a case of like, boys, just keep me up there with maybe 3Ks to go, and then I'll be fine.
He's so good at holding the wheel, Jensen, and he's just an animal. Like Welsford, he's an animal. I can't wait to see the overhead helicopters. It's going to be so good. So,
get the elbows out.
What do you guys think? Who's going to be the sprinter to watch there? I think Luke Lamperti as well, if it's an easy enough stage.
Who do you think? You think Jensen?
To be honest, I think...
And we're thinking the sprinter of the TDU is someone who wins twice.
Yeah. It's always tough because I don't like tipping against, like our locals who we love to see win. Plough Right showed he's in amazing form. He got him in the kick and the criterium, and Matthew Brennan, I mean, good Lord, he's probably a step above all of them. So I hope we see Welsford get the victories and stamp himself. But those three, I think they're so close together. It's probably just going to come between who gets the lead out right, who gets their stage management right.
Yeah, and it's always interesting as well with just a lot of these teams are coming to Tour Down Under and they're sort of coming with the mixed opportunistic, glass is half full. We're going to bring a sprinter with a couple of guys. We're going to bring a couple of guys who we've promised a well-to-a stage race and we've given some support to them. So I'm going to back Welsford again because I think that Ineos, despite, obviously he'll be mixing it in with some new...
He's got a good lead out. He's got a good lead out.
He's got a lead out, put it that way. He's got Sam Watson, the Brit, who, he was the national champion last year. Of last year.
He's a great last man, quick. Koska, he's got Ben Zwift. He's probably the best pilot there is. He's the coach. He's the one at the back of the train with 10Ks to go saying, on the right, on the left, push, lift.
I think Sam is in good enough form, and despite what he did at Nationals over the weekend, where Sam actually put himself in a position where he was in the breakaway, and he was doing a lot of work in the breakaway, and I think he was actively trying to put himself, in a position to win the race, but I think he went really deep, or at least he finished the day. He showed that he's still going to be able to get it done, in my opinion. And even, we're saying, he didn't win the criterium. He didn't win the criterium because someone simply, maybe made that second last corner a little bit sharper than him. If he wins that criterium, then we're saying, he's still the man.
You're right.
But I think, despite that, I still think he will be. I still think he will find success at Tour Down Under this year.
Pick one, Tommy. Who's the number one sprinter after Tour Down Under? He wins the most stages.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to pick Matthew Brennan. There's a world where all three get a stage. Isn't there? It's so hard to pick against any of them. So they've done so well in getting these riders to come to the Tour Down Under.
No, I don't even know if they've done so well. I think it's just the natural inclination that they want to come. They want to be here because this is one of the best World Tour races on the calendar.
Hilton Buffet as well.
Hilton Buffet.
All right, so
we should do a segment today, Hilton Buffet. What did you have at the Hilton Buffet?
Hang on a second. We've got to get the Spondoolies first before we start promoting the old Hilton, but it's a great establishment. Looking forward to the aircon on a hot day when you walk on in there. GC contenders as well. It is...
a short list.
It's a short list, and there is a clear, very nice looking GC combo from UAE. They're here to start the season very nicely, and they've got... my man, Navarrez, with Jay Vine for dessert. That is a two-time combo. Both of them have won the race in different fashions. It is going to be very hard to beat them.
So, say Navarrez or Vine takes the jersey on stage 2. With this team of Mickey Alberg, they've got Langdon, they've got Milano, Oliveira, and then Adam Yates as well.
Adam Yates. Oh yes, one of their listeners said they saw him riding around Adelaide. He's already there,
mate. He's come down way earlier, so they've got Adam Yates as well to throw in just for a little bit of creature comfort. this team is A-OK at just riding for the rest of the week and just absolutely, leaning on the sprint teams when they need to, but also, in my opinion, just getting it done. Mikkel Berg is an absolute beast, even if he's operating at 80%. So it's going to be such a hard nut to crack, and if they can crack it, do you think it's going to be the Plapp-O'Connor combination that, alongside the rest of the Australian outfit, that I think it's actually an entire Aussie team except for Maro Schmidt.
It's the national squad, isn't
Plus
it?
Maro Schmidt.
Plus Maro Schmidt.
Yep, so you've got O'Connor, Durbridge, Porter, McKenzie, O'Brien, Plapp, Schmidt. Very strong team. All obviously have done a lot of cycling. Maybe too many cooks in the kitchen. But do you think that is going to be the combination that could crack the UAE team? Do you think? I don't think so.
Where you lose, you just lose with Navarrez because he can sprint.
He can sprint.
Those riders are so rare. If you get the riders who can sprint and they can climb, you just can't win because most climbers can't sprint. O'Connor and Plapp, you could probably touch them up in a sprint, Tommy, and that says it all. So if they get these, and we think about the climbs that are on offer here at To It and Under, they're not the big mountain passes. They're not your 20-minute specials that Plapp might like, or the big 40-minute specials after 10 climbs that O'Connor might like. These are just 150k stages with a 2k at 10%. So to shake someone like Navarrez or even Vine, who showed himself he's really in good form, you're going to have to sprint against Navarrez. Or we think about Picnic Post NL, they're going to have Matthew Dinham there, who's got a bit of sharpness about him as well. And you take any of these guys who've got any bit of a kick, Plapp and O'Connor, for them to win, they need to be pinging and they need to be dropping these guys on the climb. And as we've seen, they found it difficult with these parkours in the past.
Yeah, mate, I completely agree with you. And the same goes with even Finn Fisher, who might be coming here with a bit of leadership from Red Bull. He will certainly be here. I'm keen to see how Luke Tuckwell goes on a bit of a side note, making his debut here.
With Red Bull?
He was second in the Baby Giro, yes,
okay.
In the Red Bull. But outside of that, I think NSN will be one of the teams who will challenge. They'll come down with Corbin Strong, the Kiwi, who has really, I think, over the last couple of years, is searching for that major result to take his career forward. And I think he's looking for it at Tour Down Under. He's one of those riders who likes 5 to 10 minute climbs. He is a rider who can sprint.
He's got a great 1 minute effort. He's really got high. He's a very similar rider to Brady Gilmore. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. He's the sort of rider who, you think of Darryl Olympian and go, he's going to ride his own race up Wollonga, and he gets over Wollonga, and he could potentially be that sort of rider who wins the last stage.
Their team, Tom, is incredible. They've got George Bennett for a bit of experience, Simon Clark in his last TDU, Brady Gilmore, the boy from Kalgoorlie, Nick Schultz. They've got Jake Stewart, then there's Corbin Strong, and Ethan Vernon as well. And, Tom, with this team, they must get a stage out of this race. I don't think the GC is quite built for them the way the parkours are set up, but they must get a stage here. And I actually, as much as I love Corbin, he's a great rider, and he's been so close to a stage win at To It and Under over the last 3 years. I actually hope they put their bickies in the Jake Stewart basket. Now, of course, I don't know their form and who's peaking for what, but if they're all sort of on the same level, more or less, in January, I actually would prefer Jake Stewart on a lot of these harder stages. He's shown to have what it takes to, I think, win those tough starts. And if they go all in for him, I reckon they'll come away pretty happy.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, to be honest, mate. I think that could be something that they really look at, NSN. Jake Stewart, we know how fast he is, isn't he? I just want to check something as well with Jake Stewart. If
you have a look. Have a look at his, because he had a really good win, I think, last year. Paris-Nice, he won a hard stage, Jake Stewart. So he's kind of like maybe a less climbing inclined Corbin Strong, but I think he's got a better kick, so a bit more classics inclined.
Yeah, he won that stage at the Criterium du Dauphiné.
Oh, there you
go. He won, so not just a Paris-Nice, slop fest in the rain. He went there and he was supposed to be leading out Pascal Ackermann at that time, so he knocked off, obviously, Axel Laurent, who was just in the mix from Ineos Grenadiers, Piffy, so it was
Milan, ahead of Van der Poel. These are the guys he's finishing ahead of Jake Stewart, so he's got a bit about him.
Yep, absolutely. So he's a really solid, reliable rider. He's one of those riders, I think, who will also be in the mix for the sprint stages. Or, to be honest, they could even try and look to weaponise that a little bit with Corbin Strong to get those bonus seconds early.
True.
When
mate,
the race is trying to
true.
split a little bit, in Tanunda, where they can try and hack over the climb, distance some of the heavy sprinters, get the bonus seconds, and then sit up and say, no, we're going to ride for Stewart for the sprint finish.
That very much could be the case. Good call. Now, we were talking about the GC contenders. We kind of got a little bit sidetracked. What about our man, one of the best looking men in the peloton, Javier Romo? Remember that guy? He won the Wollonga stage? The guy from Movistar?
No, he didn't win Wollonga. He won...
Did he win?
He won the Norwood stage, even into Uradla. It could be.
Oh, that's right. But he was in the jersey. He attacked at the bottom of a final time Wollonga, but he's got the big coat hanger and the big wide shoulders. So Romo, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Dinham has also James Knox with him and Betrago from Bahrain, Victoria. He isn't usually that good around this time of the year. I want to quickly discuss Jayco with their combination of Plapp and O'Connor.
You want to go back to it? Yep. What do you want to
Just want to go back to it. Do they need to just pick one? Because I think we've seen in the past, with Jayco in particular, having the two cards. They used Harper last year along with Plapp, and it didn't quite work. Murray Schmidt, I think, had a little bit of leadership as well, and we saw what he could do at Cadell's. Should they just pick one? All in for one rider.
Who do you think that is?
Well, I mean, it's probably a conversation these two riders have to have. Plapp and O'Connor might need to look at themselves throughout the race and go, maybe it's just as simple as stage 2. Whoever fares better in stage 2, the whole team behind them. Because I think to beat UAE with Vine and Navarrez, they're going to need a whole team approach. And we know how important the Australian summer is for the Jayco team. I don't think they can afford, they just don't have the talent or the parkour, to go in with a two-person split. They need to just go, let's rally behind one, and maybe whoever does the best on stage 2 gets that leadership.
You see, I go completely the other way. So, in my mind, Plapp and O'Connor, unless they roll the dice, and when the pace is off and they've made a sort of the crux point, the finale, and they do what Romo did, where he attacked, and they are able to get the race on their own terms in that sort of sense, in the last sort of 10K. But ultimately, neither of them, if it just comes down to it, will win. They need a little bit of luck to win, like you always do. But if it, goes to on paper, then Narvaez will win.
Yes.
And Plapp and O'Connor will not beat those sort of riders. They will not be able to drop him up the corkscrew. They will not be able to drop him up Wollonga. That's been proven. I don't think Plapp or O'Connor are good enough to do that. To win in that sort of scenario. So ultimately, I think, they play the both cards. They should be playing more cards, in my opinion, because they need UCI points. And last year, they came away with nothing. Last year, they didn't come away with a stage victory. They salvaged their summer with Maro Schmidt, who won Cadell's.
The Swiss. They
should actually be using more cards to try and win a stage, rather than simply thinking we're going to try and win the overall GC, because I don't think either of them...
Do you think flick GC go for stages?
No. I think try and win stages as well, and try and get a high finish on the GC, because I don't think you should sacrifice winning stages just to try and win the overall.
You want Jayco to have 2 in the GC top 10?
Yeah, absolutely, because I don't think they're going to win. So
you'd be happy with 2...
and O'Connor have not ever really challenged and been convincingly close to winning Wollonga. Well, not winning Wollonga, winning Tour Down Under.
So 2 top 5 in GC?
If you've got that, I think you could turn around and say, yep, we did the best result we could possibly do. And then if you got 2 top 5, or even 2 in, say, the top 7 and a stage, that's something that you can go, we're pretty happy with that. I think that's a success for us. Let's go to Cadell's and roll the dice. So ultimately, that is, I think, the approach that they should be taking.
Okay. I hope we see Kel O'Brien in the breakaway, one of these stages.
Kel's good enough to win a stage.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, send him in the break, and maybe they get one of those days where the break does go to the line, and then he's got the kick, because I feel like Kel actually needs to get some just desserts, because he's a great rider, but he often doesn't get a chance for himself. So
what was promising, though, out of the Jayco was the fact that over the Nationals, we did see Rudy Porter, McKenzie, they were able to go deep. So they're going to be leaning quite a lot on those guys, as well as Durbridge, to set up the likes of Kel. Because Plapp and O'Connor will, obviously, they'll go, okay, GC for points and a high finish. But they need those other riders to really be lent on. So then O'Brien can get a bit of a ride and a bit of an opportunity. And I think, like you just said, mate, he should be sniffing around Tanunda. If it goes over the top of the climb and he's there, get him in the move.
You know
Get
what
him to the line with a couple of guys who he can flick and win the sprint.
You know what I do for that stage too, because I'm thinking about how sort of hectic it will be. There's lots of downhills, there's twisted turns.
Absolutely.
It's going to be Plapp's nightmare trying to stay, in because we know he likes to sit at the back of the
Of
peloton.
course.
You know what they need to do? Jayco, if they want to take on this 2 and under, they need to fucking light up Norton Summit. Light up, because this is a longer climb.
From the start.
This is a 12, 13-minute climb.
It's
this
so
is actually,
flat, though. It's so easy to sit in the wheel.
It is, but
not
they've
hard
got
enough.
that 10-minute power that's quite high. Particularly, Platt. Maybe that is how you try and drop Navarrez. Maybe Vine stays, but maybe you got to try something different here. Because otherwise you're probably going to have Jayco there with Ben probably well positioned in the middle. Platt, we know he's probably going to be towards the back. It's hard to manage when you hit corkscrew from the back. You've got no chance, because corkscrew is all about being in the first 15 wheels when you approach it. So maybe you just try and thin things out at the beginning. It makes it really tough, doesn't it? So I'm sure they've got those discussions to go through. ARA's team, Tommy, who do we have in the ARA Australian team?
Yep, so back to the well, we've got the duo from Q36.5, Damien Housen, Chris Harper. They'll be the cool heads in that team. Obviously, Chris Harper moving away from Jayco Alula, getting the start there in the national team. I don't mind that. Pat Eddy, our national champion. That'll be good to see him line up. I love to see that. Liam Walsh, Ollie Bledden, who was second in the individual time trial championships last week. Matthew Greenwood, Lucas Stevenson, and they're going to be at the same director sportif, Martin Brass, the Canadian.
Ooh.
Pat Eddy, you got a little bit of an inside, maybe a little bit more goss going on here.
Yeah, we did. Well, we had Chris Eddy, Papa Eddy, send us a message and wanted to get in touch after his win on the weekend. Pat, of course, becoming the national road champion. And we just wanted to find out a little bit more about Pat Eddy's journey. And, of course, we know he lost his World Tour contract late last year with DSM. He was with them for 4 years, and that was as an 18-year-old. He started so young and obviously had to find his feet riding the big pelotons and working for others. He didn't really get a chance to race for himself that often, or when he did, it was at races like Guangxi, and you're with riders who are checked out and they're not really involved, or you're only riding with 4 or 5 riders. So Eddie, he's filled out a bit more. His dad said he's got a little bit bigger. You can see that physically.
Yeah, you can,
he was maybe a bit scrawny when he began, and only 18. But he's been working hard. He's been with Decker, of course, with Team Brennan, and they've got a big program as well. So they're going to be racing all the Pro Velo League. They'll be going after the Melbourne Awardee, and I think they've got a bit of racing over in Asia as well. But I imagine that with Team Brennan, they might get a few extra race starts. Chris said he was hoping with the national jersey and the team. So I suggested that Eddie might be looking in the emails, waiting for a team over in Europe to go, hey, come with us. But he's committed to Team Brennan and this season, and he's going to try and stack some more results onto his Palmares this year, and then maybe that'll give him a nice package at the end to say, hey, bring me back up to the top flight. Yeah,
that's a lovely way to wrap it up, I reckon, mate. I think that's a really nice way to put it. And if he goes across and he gets those results and he's able to go back to the World Tour and really cement his place, because it's one thing to get there, it's another to stay there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And his result over the weekend would have helped him along to that journey tenfold. And on a bit of a special note as well, mate, Simon Clark, who is riding for NSN, he is going to retire at the end of the Tour Down Under. So after 15 or so years, mate, he's going to hang up the wheels.
Underrated rider. I think he did win a stage in every Grand Tour.
I think he missed out at the Giro. He wore the Giro. He wore the Maglia Rosa in 2015.
Yep.
But he did win that iconic stage in the Tour de France. The year where he didn't really have a contract, he was doing Bay crits.
Was it the Roubaix stage?
And he won the Roubaix stage. He out-sprinted Taco van der Hoorn in a gritty, feral sort of like conditions to win an iconic stage of the Tour de France. And he's that win goes alongside his 2-stage wins at the La Vuelta.
There you go. So well done, Simon Clark. An amazing career. Mm-hmm. We've got to pick our winners, Tommy. All right. So let's start with the women's. I'll pick first. I like Naomi Rugg. I don't think EF can lose this. I think she'll come back. She'll have the world champion working for her, I suspect. And I think Rugg, she's kind of like the women's version of Navarrez in a way. Maybe not quite as a punchy, but I like her for the win for the GC.
Okay, I'm going to stay a little bit closer to home. I'm going to go to Neve Bradbury from Canyon
that would be
SRAM.
awesome.
On to Crypto.
Yeah.
I think, she was third over the weekend at Nationals, and you could just see, I think she was yearning for a little bit more elevation in the course.
Yep.
Just the road to keep on going up and up and up.
Yep.
So, and then we're both, I imagine, just going for Ali Wollaston.
In terms of sprint, the best sprinter. Yes, I think Wollaston and Dygert will share a stage.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the men's, we've picked our best sprinters, and what about the GC, mate? Who's walking home with the GC? Are we unanimous in my man, the peeled, kickboxing, tanned superstar that is Jonathan Navarez?
It is so hard to go past him, isn't he? He's
can't.
$1.05 favourite, isn't he?
Is he
He would have to be.
What are the odds?
No, I'll go Jay Vine. I'll go for something slightly different. I'll go for the Mr. Vine to go across. He'll put together a good prologue.
Yeah. Yes, he will.
He will enjoy the conditions, and I think he's racing just with a little bit more freedom nowadays. So I'm going to go Jay Vine.
Good call. He will write a good prologue. That's a very good point. Yeah, so nice one.
Who do you got?
Navarez, my man.
Yep.
My Mr. Peeled. Yeah, so guys, I hope you enjoyed the preview. We really dived quite into that. It was quite good. And we've got our daily podcast coming up. They will begin on Saturday. We'll be into it and under for the whole thing. We're all rolling in on the Thursday and Friday morning for me, Tommy. So if you see us, please come and say hi. Let us know you're watching the podcast, and we'll see you on the first daily for Two Down Under.